spirit is rising, she's rising, she's rising. The spirit is rising, it's rising, it's rising. The spirit is rising, they're rising, they're rising.
I'm in a weird place today. I don't have anything.
That's the cold open of the podcast.
Oh man, so many of them when I edited them. Did they all just start with me being like, I'm a mess?
As they should. I think so. Hi, Kevin. I think so often about Christina Cleveland and like how her version of God welcomes our sacred mess.
Mm.
And I've like said that to so many people who are like, oh, self-deprecating or whatever, like, oh, I'm just a mess. And I'm like, I welcome your sacred mess. I lovingly accept your sacredness. I'm like so into like humans being human.
Yes. Thank you for the reminder. I need it drilled into my brain over and over and over again as I clench around every successive onslaught of global anxiety.
Yes. We're not in control of all of those. We can't be.
No.
And I believe like, we were talking about this at our last meeting, which listeners you will hear because it's our Yule special. So that's
our
super
last
fun.
Coven circle hang. If you want to support this podcast, the best way to do it is to come hang out with us. Seriously, like that's what our whole whole like subscription model scheme thing is. Like, you could, if you want to throw like $1 to keep this podcast going and never come, no problem. We've all been there. But if you want to come and hang out, just know that that's what we do. We get together and talk about moons and I don't know, everything else. I lost the plot, Amy. Edit.
No, that's again. This is the last RX of the year, and I think it's appropriate for it to be super messy.
Oh, good. Thank God.
It's y'all. It's like
a mess out here.
Yeah, I think what I said at the meeting was something to the effect of like, I feel like nobody who has a conscience is feeling super great these days.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about like the global anxiety of multiple wars. And I mean, I personally have never been an adult or even a teenager in a time where we weren't actively at war, we being like Canada, and globally, like it's way beyond that. So I've talked about this many times. I've written about it. Like the first panic attack I remember having, I was like 7 years old. So I've had anxiety and depression my whole life. And so like I'm so used to like fighting for and grabbing joy when I can, that like I managed to keep it together and climbs. Like my brain is saying the wrong word, but maybe like the more correct word than I was originally gonna say. Because again, like I've been climbing and like holding on to like whatever branches are on the cliffside, and so it again, like I managed to keep it together in these times because I have a lot of practice like seeing the magic, because I'm always looking for it. And I think part of the reason that I got into activism young was because of this anxiety and depression. I feel like when we are like scared and sad all the time, or numb, even worse, you sort of like are trying to fix it. And it's like you're a kid, an adult, whomever, and you're like, the world is fucked up and I feel fucked up, and like maybe if I can fix the world I won't feel fucked up anymore, which is totally understandable, but like also only half how it works. Like I really do believe that like doing activism, helping other people makes you feel better. Like it's a very healing practice to take on. But at the same time, like there's no finish line there. the goalposts are always moving. And if you know that the race is literally never going to end, you're going to have to keep running for the rest of your life, then you got to take water breaks. You have to take water. You literally can't run for the rest of your life without taking water breaks. So for me, joy is like a water break. Joy is like, I'm going to sit down. And I think what I talked about at our meeting was like, just the first thing that popped into my head was like watching the bird feeder. Like, I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to grab some fucking joy, and I'm not going to allow anything to distract me from joy for 5 minutes. And it's not because I'm like an ignorance is bliss kind of person. It's like the opposite. Like, I know what the fuck is going on, but I need to not think about it for 5 minutes. Like one of our coven mates was saying, it feels like it's getting harder and harder to grab those moments of joy. And for me, like the harder it is, the more fucking important it is, the more necessary it is. It's not easy. I've had so many friends tell me, because I'm a fixer, right? I'm like, I'm not a coddler. If you come to me with a problem, I'm not just going to be like, oh, well, I might, but I'm solution oriented, you know? So when you look at a world that's fucked up and you're a solution oriented person, you're like, how do I fix the world? And listeners, my Yuletide gift to you is to tell you, like, you fix the world in tiny, tiny, small pieces. You don't fix the world in one big swoop. You change one heart, one mind at a time with acts of kindness that ripple throughout the universe. And just make your world real small if you have to. Choose 2 things. I've been saying this for years. Choose 2 things that are important to you and work really hard for those 2 world-changing efforts. You know, if we are looking at everything wrong, then we, you know, it's like you can give a penny to everything that's wrong and not really make a difference, or you can like save up your pennies for a year and give them all to one specific thing and like actually make a difference. When I say pennies, I mean energy tokens. I don't mean money. I mean like the currency for me is energy. How much energy do I have? That's like my absolute currency. Anyway, all this to say, I brought some non-toxic masculinity to help us in this time. First of all, to remind us that, like, you know, non-toxic masculinity exists. And secondly, just to read these lyrics. It is a song called Northern Sky by one of my favorite soft boys, Nick Drake, who has written some of my most favorite songs and also had a tragic life and still managed to find magic when he could until he couldn't anymore. So Nick Drake in Northern Sky said, I never felt magic crazy as this. I never saw moons, knew the meaning of the sea. I never held an ocean in the palm of my hand or felt sweet breezes in the top of a tree. But now you're here. Brighten my northern sky. And later, if you would and you could, straighten my new mind's eye. And if you would and you could, come blow your horn on high. So that is my prescription, is a little Nick Drake, is a little acoustic guitar and piano, a song written by someone who didn't understand how magical the world was until he did. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So my prescription is like, listen to Nick Drake and go look for magic. I swear it's still out there. I swear to you, there's so much magic. And sometimes it feels like you have to look a little harder. So look a little harder. Like, you know, I'm solution oriented. You tell me it's not easy to do this. And, you know, Eastern European bloodline is like, who told you it was going to be easy? Nothing precious ever comes cheaply. And the more precious these moments of magic are, you know, the less cheap they are. So come blow your horn on high.
Thanks for that, pal. Also, while you were talking, I changed my prescription for the week.
I honor your sacred mess.
I kept looking at different things today because I was like trying to find like I don't know. It's like the song has to also feel like my emotional vibe of the moment. Don't you feel like when you're picking your
Oh yes.
when you're making your
Yes.
prescription? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I went through some. I'll tell you when, but I didn't go far enough down the rabbit hole for it. But I think Crowded House. I think it's Don't Dream It's Over.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah. Dream it's over. Because, it's not. Damn it.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like when Miley Cyrus was doing her backyard pajama series that she did
I'm
that
not
song
familiar.
with, well, yeah, just like it was probably 2020 when everybody was like broadcasting from their backyards and stuff, or rich people were anyway. But with Ariana Grande, I feel like she does a duet of that Don't Dream It's Over song with Ariana Grande,
like that would
and
be
I feel like
amazing.
it's great.
Yeah, I feel like that would
I'm
be
trying
amazing.
to remember.
Miley Cyrus's Hey Ya is devastating.
Like Outcast's Hey Ya, but by Miley Cyrus. I haven't heard this.
There's a recording of her doing it live, I think, that I've heard
so
many
funny.
times.
I was at a show a few weeks ago. The first time I had been to a local show in so long. It was awesome, but we were like standing in the street as one does.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a dance bar upstairs from the show bar downstairs. Yeah. So every time someone opened the door, you'd hear like the top 40 hits coming out, and at one point it was Miley Cyrus, and like guilty pleasure, no, pleasure, strictly
pleasure.
I love Miley.
Yeah.
And one of the punks was like, oh, Miley Cyrus, da, 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 da. And I was like, well, have you heard the record she did with the Flaming Lips? And then another friend of mine was like, and the duet she did with the Wilson sisters from Heart. And we're all like out punking the punks who don't like Miley Cyrus. It's like, you just don't know enough about Miley Cyrus, sweetie. Super patronizing.
Oh, no.
I was the patronizing one. So don't just discount Miley like that. You don't know enough about her. You don't know her life. Anyway, this is all way beside the point.
Okay, no, but all those songs go on the prescription. It's a messy, long prescription. Yeah,
I'm going to specifically say, I forgive you. I'm going to put that in the note. I forgive you. It's the end of the year. So let's go with I Forgive You as my Miley Cyrus pick.
That's kind. Okay, here's my other one. This was introduced to me, to my knowledge, by Aaron in our kind of community coven space. If you join the Missing Witches Coven, you can hang out on a Missing Witches social media hang where we do classes for each other and stuff. It's the most lovely hang ever. And Aaron put this song a while ago, Holding to the Edge of Night by Samantha Crane. And I just have been thinking about this song. The artist just repeats. So first of all, the lyric is that hangs with me so much is the very first one. What's that silence inside me that expands into the dark?
That's a winter solstice lyric. Oh, good start. Okay, go.
With traffic lights all changing for no one anymore. The karaoke laughter tumbling out the door. My eyes well with contemplation of the pleasures I endure. But when you were, I don't know, talking about holding on to grabbing at pleasure, like demanding to hold on to that tiniest little light at magic, the smallest light. Thinking about solstice and thinking about that, like nails on the edge of night, but also it's such a pleasure out at night. Being out at night is such a pleasure. And it's safe.
That song in particular is such like a sonic examination of that feeling too. It's like beautiful and a bit sad, like in that wistful way. and how the melody goes with the guitar. It really is like a very specific mood. That's great choice for solstice.
That's the
Excellent choice.
prescription. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, all the people in the coven who are smarter than us, who get to we get to hang out with.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love our coven so much. You know, one of our coven mates recently was like, this is what I always wished church would be like. And, you know, again, for those of us who have like a little bit of
It's like sitting around and talking.
Yeah, but also like singing and telling stories, you know, it's like beyond conversational and into like
co-creational
and just like offering blessings to each other. And but there was one more thing from the meeting that I really, really, really latched onto. And I'm going to get there. But first, I want to say again, this is like the last RX of the year. The prescription is something that we started this year. And so, Risa, I just wanted to, like, first of all, remind you that in January, we launched a new website and launched the prescription and launched our zine and launched our co-creation more so of the Missing Witches project with courses. In May, we raised over $10,000 for our local Native women's shelter and other Indigenous support orgs. In September, we had a book come out. And
oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. So I really, okay, so this is like, again, I think in like these like patchwork fractals, so it's hard sometimes. I'm like, I really enjoyed studying narratology, which is like not the story, but how one tells the story. So like, if you think an easy example is like the movie Memento that's told backwards, like that's like the narratology of the story is like anti-chronological. So where do you start when you're telling, you know, when you're talking to your friends and you're telling them like what happened on the weekend, like where do you start? How do you do this? Because it's like a woven tapestry of strings here. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge like what amazing work you've been doing this year, Risa. And one of our coven mates was mentioning the Fred Rogers quote that always goes around, like in times of trouble or whatever, look for the helpers. And this coven mate added, and help them.
Yeah.
Which is like an amazing addition. Like, y'all look for the helpers and help them. But the other song that I brought, I'm going to sing it, but I'm also going to link to the original, is Fred Rogers. And it's called I'm Proud of You. And it goes like this. And I'm singing this to all of our listeners because I am proud of you. You fucking made it. You made it. You did it. You're still here. Oh my God. What an accomplishment. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I hope that you are proud of you too. Proud of you. I'm proud of you. I hope that you are proud as I am proud of you. I'm proud of you. I hope that you are proud of you too. Proud of you. I'm proud of you. I hope that you are proud of you too. And then we could go on and on and on. But
and then you do it forever. I love
you
it.
do it forever.
Because it's stuck in your head. So you just walk around going, I'm proud of you. What a gift.
Yeah. And sometimes I do. Like,
Yeah.
we need to be that person for ourselves too. And sometimes I will like walk around my yard singing to myself. Amy,
oh my gosh.
I'm proud of you.
Amy, you have to clip that and put it on the Missing Witches Bandcamp. Please. Put a beat under it, please. No, you don't have to do any additional work. Just clip it like that. but put it on repeat like 12 times.
I may have to remix it a little bit. Yeah.
Good.
But I will put the Fred Rogers version because again, this like non-toxic masculinity of Nick Drake and Mr. Rogers and looking for magic, looking for helpers, helping them. And just because it's really scary and sad out there, like you're still allowed to be proud of yourself. Like be proud of yourself, you know, and look for the helpers and help them. Help them.
Help them.
Don't be satisfied by just finding other people who are helping. Because again, I think like at the risk of turning this south, like I think that we're socially making a mistake. It's like a false equivalency of calling out people that you think are doing bad versus doing good. And I think that like calling out the bad shit is super important, but I think it's a false equivalency to call it the same as doing good. You know, I think that that's a mistake that we're making in society right now, of this false equivalency of like calling out the bad and actually trying to put something good into the world. So like do both. Do both are magic, but I don't think that they're equal. I think if I had to choose between, you know, objecting to someone's tweet or like going and working at a soup kitchen for a day, like I feel like
it's kind of the old resistance and reenchantment balance again, you know? It's like,
yeah,
which sometimes I think should have been the title of that book. Often, I think, because I I like to pull things apart in my head forever. But you know that like I for me anyway, like if I'm too much in a resistance or calling out or like a tearing down positionality, it poisons me. I have to have the reenchantment piece in my life too. Okay. And that's like it's related to like feeling entitled to carve out time for self-care, you know, but it's like spiritually my brain needs to work on caring and chanting and filling with joy in places and healing wounds in places, as much as trying to figure out everything that's wrong, because I can't grasp it all. I just can't.
I think too, like self-care, we've sort of commodified self-care as being like a pampering ritual. And oftentimes self-care is like go into your grief.
Right.
Like that's the care that you need to do, is like, you know, cry. It doesn't have to be a bubble bath or like an expensive fucking facial or whatever they're
or
pushing
like
as
storm
self-care.
Or rage. Yeah. Okay,
Sometimes
I have one
self-care
last
is
song.
all that. Oh yes.
So we're also closing in upon Mother's Night, which is one of my preferred ways of thinking about this holiday season. And I want to like propose finding a way like I don't know, to like decontextualize your own mom, like to sort of like put her there, but also like put her, then like pull back, or like imagine the map of pulling back one, and like really try to see what, you know, just the pieces that come to mind of the women who, or the bodies who gave birth to all of the bodies in the line, you know, like see them. And when you can get far enough and imagine that as like a web, then that is like the all mother, I think. That is for Mother's Night, you know, like there's the mother and the all mother, I think. And so this song you could lean into if that was available for you. It's that I Am My Mother's Savage Daughter song that's been going around the internet since like the late 90s. The original author's recording is on a Bandcamp, and it's so beautiful. Like she's, you know, a writer in a sort of heathenry world, a world of like the creative anachronism recreationists, you know, learning through reproducing, living out. But she wrote like in, I want to say like 2020, that this song, like she woke up with the chorus in her head and the rest came pouring out as soon as she had a pen. It was the tune and the whole words. She wrote, "It was clear to me this was a song that wanted to be sung by anyone who found their own voice within it. It is an anthem of empowerment, not a song meant to serve a specific blood or people or skin." She's being very clear because there's a lot of fucking racists in the sort of Norse reclaiming religion version of things. And, you know, in a lot of the New Age, fuck racism forever. If you find strength and power and your own voice in it, this is your song. And I hope you sing it with the strength and rage and beauty and power that is within you, whoever you are. Women are not ever less than. We are the singers of storms, the fire made flesh, the inexorable power of the mountains, the kind warmth and the cutting lash of the wind. We are half the world, and we have been taught to speak softly and behave mildly because we are easier to control that way. I am honored that the daughters of the first peoples find a voice here, and the daughters of the sea wolves, and the daughters of the great grandmothers, grandmothers, and mothers, wherever they lived and sang and died. All of you are their living legacies, and they hear you singing. Be assured they are proud of you, whoever you are. You have a voice that cannot be silenced. Together, our voices cannot be unheard.
I love living my life as a living legacy and trying to put that idea like into how I function in the world. I think often of it like, well, what's my legacy? But like, I am also prior generations' legacy, and how can I make them proud? And I'm so glad that I'm proud of you and they're proud of you came up in that too. That's sort of the unwitting theme.
Yeah, I'm so I don't even know how to wrap my head around what this year has been, but I'm certainly very fucking proud of us and very, very proud of you. You're just like a dreamboat partner, just killing it all the time. Especially like the balance between reminding us of like, you know, just like we're gonna be exactly who we are and listen to exactly our bodies and brains exactly as they are. And then the other half of you, which is like, yeah, nailed that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, caught that. Yeah, I did. No worries. I got that. It's like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very thankful for a joyful partnership in making the most fun, coolest, most interesting thing I ever got to do. And wildly thankful for the coven that makes it continuously possible. It's crazy.
You know, if the project weren't expanding, I'm sure maybe we would have like lost some of our interest and joy and pleasure, but there's always a new coven mate with a new story or a new angle or a new problem. And yeah, I'm super grateful to all of you who are listening for like caring about what the fuck I have to say and what the fuck Risa has to say, and like sticking around for our messes that are sometimes sacred and sometimes just a mess.
Just profane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you know, we're human beings, and that comes with some vulgarity.
Yeah. I really did not intend for this episode to be like a big long plug for the coven. So please don't feel pressure. There's enough pressure in fucking life at this time of year. We don't want to send you extra newsletters or do any kind of sales pitch. I'm doing like nothing. I was talking to my neighbor who runs a no packaging grocery store. I was like, "Are you doing like Christmas promo stuff?" She's like, "No, it's not worth the energy. I'm just gonna do my regular stuff and take a break." I'm like, that's what we're gonna do. Because it's too much. My inbox is like full and I can't even, I don't have the brain juice left for anything. So I don't feel like we're pushing anything on you. We're just high on getting to hang out with all of you in the most extended you of that. Like our social media coven, like the badass, incredible, powerful, thoughtful people that we get to meet doing this project, the scholars that we've gotten to talk to, the people that we've gotten to meet in interviews for the show that we got to sit down and talk to this year. Unbelievable. Yeah. And you, the listeners, it's you in the dark here with us as usual. Thank you for that sense of being able to drop in to a place that is outside of whatever other place and talk honestly about awe and science loving both.
Yes. Yes. We love magic and we love science. And
let's hang out and talk about it, guys.
Let's hang out and talk about it. Because again, like, I talk about this all the time. Like, to me, you know, physics and astronomy and biology and chemistry is so exciting and magical. Like, that's the only word that I can come up with to describe that feeling of awe when you're learning about, you know, the beginning of the universe and how experts disagree on whether the universe is contracting or expanding, and like, how fucking magical is all
life? Why is it? Like, it's all the same question.
That's so the question we will leave you with for the with the RX for the year. We will see you. We'll be missing you, and we will be back doing the RX like
at some point
of the new year.
Early January.
Early January. And in the meantime, the Yuletide special is really beautiful. I'm so excited for you all to hear it, and like, we're proud of you. I never felt magic crazy as this, to quote Nick Drake. I never felt magic crazy as this, and we're proud of you, and we love you, and good job.
Blessed fucking be.
Blessed fucking be.
Every fucking one of you. And Merry Christmas to us all.
And God, etc. bless us, everyone. If you want to support the Missing Witches project, find out how at missingwitches.com.